So, welcome to a new video. I'm gonna do just a briefing of the patch notes, right? What's good on Zilean, what's not. And obviously I'll make another guide. I've already done two, which will be posted below in case you guys want to see. I'm technically three, but two updated ones, right? And this will be my third one. And it'll be like a more in-depth guide about this patch note. But here's a little video guide kind of thing. Also, hopefully my Masteries and runes will be stay up so that you guys can all see it. Okay, Talon. So Talon, it sucks. He was pretty bad already to verse, because I thought he was pretty hard to play against. Some people didn't, but now he's even worse. As you can see, he has more of a ratio. Although he has less damage, he has more of a ratio. And the thing that annoys me the most is this. He can pretty much teleport to any, if I understand correctly, he can teleport to any thing on terrain, which means it's harder to push out your lane, shove your lane, and roam, because he will out roam you. He will make it to he will out pressure you pretty much. Not only that, although you're range and he's melee, so you should poke him down. He's actually got his W got a buff. Yeah, a buff, because less mana. It slows for more, a lot more, like double, and also it's lower cooldown. So all in all, Talon, obviously I'll go more in depth, but Talon is really hard to play against, so I advise not to. I'll play it to test again, but I advise not to. Katarina, I looked at Katarina's updates. Although her spells are updated and whatnot, it doesn't really change anything. Because the only dangerous thing about Katarina was her ult, and you can still stop her ult with a simple QWQ, so I don't think Katarina's changed much. She's still decent to play against, although she can shove lane easier and she has no mana, so she has sustain. You just, you can out roam her once you have blue buffs, because you can, yeah. And not only that, you're more useful in team fights, and you can just stun her really easily if you position yourself well. Alright, LeBlanc. I thought LeBlanc was unplayable already. This patch sucks. Like, just like Talon, I would not play Zilean against LeBlanc. She has way too much burst. They buffed her. They made her better in lane, lower mana, buffed her AP ratios. She has more wave clear. Like less mana, like pretty much they just made her even better in lane. Already that you're a bad lane champion, you're gonna get, and you're already getting wrecked by LeBlanc. You're just gonna, yeah. LeBlanc's just bad, because she will burst you down really easily, especially with all these buffs on her. And she will maybe not out roam you, but she will shove you in the lane and constantly have kill pressure, and you won't. She has to be really bad if she's not going to beat lane. You'll see in future videos of me going Zilean against LeBlanc, and I'll talk about it. Rengar, it's kind of like Katarina. Although he did get buffed, for Zilean it doesn't really matter, because your ult counters his ult. Sure, he has more, it lasts for longer and has more speed, so you have less time to react. But if you position well next to your carries or whoever you want to ult, whoever they tend to focus, then you should be fine, because his damage is around the same. Therefore, your reaction time should be around the same, other than like him jumping faster. So it should be fine to ultimate time. Fizz, same thing as Rengar and Katarina, although they buffed him. The biggest thing to talk about is his ult. So the farther his ult goes, the more damage it takes. But with that being said, the farther his ult goes, the more time to react you have. And with your E, you can easily dodge or help your carries dodge his ability, so you should be fine. Sure, he has more sustain in the late game, but that doesn't really matter, because he's an assassin, and your ult in the late game is fine, because your ult cooldown is like 40 seconds. The main thing is actually the early game, which is Talon and LeBlanc, which is really shit. But with Kha'Zix, they buffed his Q, which means if you're isolated, you're pretty much screwed. 50% bonus damage. But as Zilean, you don't want to be isolated. You want to be with your carries. You want to be with whatnot. So actually, this change makes Zilean better because they nerfed his passive, they nerfed his W, less slow, and then his ult. Like although it's a buff, he has increased movement speed. Your E counters it, so it wouldn't be that hard. The only thing is his bonus damage to isolated targets. However, you shouldn't be isolated as Zilean. Akali, her passive gives a lot of sustain in lane, which kind of sucks, cause I mean you can't really burst anyway in lane, but it also makes her able to be more aggressive, so it kind of screws you over. But it isn't as bad as what for other laners, right? Because you can't burst her damage. You don't really have kill pressure as Zilean. The good thing is that her ult does less damage, less cooldown. I mean more cooldown. However, her E is actually pretty largely buffed, and so she can burst you down easily. But then again, with your ult, you should be fine. With that being said, she has more sustain, so she can be more aggressive, putting a lot of pressure on your lane. So I would say Akali actually got a little harder, just for sustain in lane. To beat a Zilean, you either screw over his carries, or you just destroy him in lane. That's how you just have to destroy him in lane. Because rest of Zilean's always useful. Alright, so with Zed, it's actually like sure he has more sustain and he can go farther, but again, like you don't really have kill pressure on him. Sure he can poke you down or go all in more easily with you, but it doesn't matter that much. The thing is that he has less damage, so it's pretty good for you because he has less chance to burst you down with his W. With that being said, new items and such kind of screw you over. So his E is quite annoying. It's actually pretty much like a poke now. 3 seconds, and with that sustain, it will get quite annoying and hard to play against. He was already really hard to play against as Zilean pre-level 11, or that's pretty hard, in my opinion. His ult shouldn't change that much because you should ult whoever Zed ults all the time, unless they have Zhonya's or something, and you know that like you should ult whoever Zed ults, since whoever Zed ults is usually your ADC or you. So stealth mechanics I don't need to go through. It's sort of important. I always buy vision wards because it gives you vision and it lets you see invisible, lets you see other wards, and it costs 75. But now that it doesn't exist, I'll buy a control ward. Probably put it in depending on your jungler. If your jungler is a good invader, put it in their jungle. If not, then if your jungler is a good ganker, you put it in one of your bushes with a ward, so that you can see vision there, and you can also prohibit vision for the enemy there. And then otherwise, you just put it in the objectives like dragon, baron, or whatnot. These itemizations you don't really care. So turrets actually kind of changes. The turrets now they do a constant damage rather than the bullets that they used to do, which kind of sucks because with Zilean you could usually time your diving in, diving out with your E, and when the shots take. Now it's constant, so it's actually harder to turret dive with him. That being said, it also helps you get a lot of kills because if you slow a champion, you could do a lot of damage for them and against them, and it can probably secure you a kill. I mean, not probably. It can secure you more kills than needed. It's just harder to turret dive pretty much. So as item wise, Locket, I didn't really buy it a lot, but sometimes I did, and here it doesn't give 10% cooldown anymore. So that would mean you would have 35% cooldown. So usually I would go Moby's, the Frost Queen. The Sightstone that upgrades to the Frost Queen. I don't know what it is. That gives 10%. I'd have 15% runes. Mikaels, so that's 35%, and I'd go one of the Aegis items gives 45. So instead of that, I have yet to think. Maybe depending on your team, Abyssal would be pretty good, or Kha'Zix depending on your ADC. Protobelt, because it gives you tankiness and escape potential and causes you to be more safe. Instead of Locket, if Locket is better than Banner of Command in the specific situation, depending on your team, of course I'll talk about it more. You'd get Abyssal, Kha'Zix, or Protobelt. Banner of Command, nothing changes. You still have the 10% cooldown. Redemption isn't really isn't really important. Ardent Sensor, never bought it. Never thought it was useful. Mikaels, doesn't change your cooldown. Worse mana regen, but that's not too bad. And you have a bigger heal, so it's actually good for you because you already had quite a lot of a mana regen with Mikaels and the Frost Queen's item that I forgot. And then if you have Zeke's as well, then you have actually quite a lot of sustain, so it's fine. Atheon Holy Grail, never bought it. It sucks. Zeke's got a little cheaper, which is good for support. I can sometimes I take this again, cheaper, nice. Champions. So Alistar, it's the same as before. You just want to slow him down, inhibit him from engaging, and then you should be fine. That doesn't really matter because you can just kite him really easily. Alistar, like, he's a good champion, and he's really he can punish you really easily, but you can also punish him really easily by just slowing him down constantly when he tries to engage or whatnot, and then just stunning. If he does engage, stunning whoever's behind him so that they can't go towards him. So if this here is Alistar, and he's going towards you, right? If you can't slow him in time, by slowing him, you either make him go backwards, or he'll try to engage, but you have time to QWQ him, and making him stunned so he can't do stuff, so your team can target him or disengage. With that being said, if you don't manage to QWQ him, and he stuns you guys, so he goes like boom, 3-man stun. So only you and whoever this is useful. What we can do is throw a couple of bombs behind him, right where they're just overlapping each other. Like, this is the stun area, and this is the damage area. The outer circle is the damage area, inner circle is the stun area. So what we can do is you just place 2 bombs almost on top of each other. So that means when they try to engage with Alistar, they'll get stunned. You just say, oh no, they wouldn't get stunned, but it's solo queue, so they would get stunned. And not only that, there's a potential if Alistar might flame them if they don't engage with him. So they'll get stunned, and then you have an easy team fight, hopefully getting at least their mid laner who's carry. Their ADC should be at the back. If you stun their ADC, then lol. Then so Twitch kinda got nerfed, which is good, but his stealth duration is a lot, and you don't have the pink ward anymore, so it's quite hard to play against them. I would go Frost Queen's Claim this time, the actual Frost Queen with the active, so you can have extra vision on him. And then it's pretty hard to play against Twitch, honestly. He's one of the harder ones. Ivern, I honestly think Ivern is pretty stupid, but it's not much to talk about. I haven't really played against it. Kled, same. Haven't really played much against it. His ult is pretty annoying. It's a nerf, so it should be fine. Oh, Abyssal. It's a buff against tanks, nerf against squishies, so I'd still buy it if you're support. I don't tend, maybe not in mid lane anymore. I used to buy it against Syndra, Orianna, LeBlanc. Maybe against mid lane you would have to rush Zhonya's now, especially with the assassin meta, because LeBlanc can kill you really easily. We talked about this too. This doesn't really matter because when you're support, you don't want to do damage. You just want the cooldown, and it gives you an escape. It does give you damage, which is good. Masteries, none of these actually affect you. I never took any of them, so it doesn't matter. Resolve actually wouldn't be that bad on Zilean, tier 2. So for Zilean support, because you're kind of weak early game, so you can get killed easily. With that being said, it is I have yet to test it, so I'll see. League client, don't care. Ranked, I'll do a more in-depth one obviously once I get time. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.